Good day, everyone. How are you doing?
Hi, Febri. Welcome. It's us again.
Yeah, this is number 6 of our little lifetime story. I don't know if you're enjoying our feedback, but we're quite enjoying recording and remembering all that God has done for us and how God has been faithful through so much. We've really enjoyed this time.
Yeah, it was really challenging after the business closed. The sheriff of the court coming and writing up everything in your house, and it is, yo, my pride took such a knock. It was like I had to really ask the Lord to do surgery on my heart there because you know what, they're just doing their job, and
Mm.
God said to me, don't be rude to them. And I wanted to be rude and say, that's my stuff. But anyway, you grow and you learn.
But it was amazing how good God was, how people that remodeled their house would give us whole bedroom suites and
Yeah, it
things.
was.
I also remember the incredible holidays we had at places like Mabaling, where in a time like we had no money, but we were blessed with incredible breakaways and incredible times.
I mean, the furniture we were given, absolutely stunning things.
Yes.
And God provided, and we were so grateful. But we were visiting churches, and we knew God was calling us to plant a church again. But I didn't want to. I didn't want to. And my beautiful daughter, Johnny said to me, "But why didn't you want to?" And I said to her, "Well, I was scared to plant a church again. I was scared to get involved with church again because it hurt. It just hurt too much."
So in March of 2011, we hear that Janet Brand, that we knew from early on in life, that she was having a prophetic training school where prophets are trained to prophesy, and she will let the students minister and just supervise and make sure that it's accurate. So we stand there, and a young one prophesied over us, powerful word, and then she stepped in and she said, God says you have a church inside of you. You must step back into the flock. But what was so incredible was that she went back. When I asked Mandy to marry me, I used very specific examples. And then she used that same example about what the Lord told me to tell Mandy in
Exactly.
1987. Now suddenly here it's 2011, it's 20 odd years later, and the Lord uses the same example through a prophet that didn't know us.
And you know why it meant so much to me? Because while she was prophesying over Hannes about there's still a church in you and this, I was thinking, yeah, sure, God, I wonder if this is God or they say this to everybody. And then she turned and she spoke the specific words to me. And I knew that this was God talking.
Absolutely.
So then she also prophesied about our house with big windows and sun coming through and everything. And we thought, oh, well, that's wonderful, but,
Yes.
put that on the shelf. And then it was.
So if I remember correctly, this was about March 2011, and we were every day driving quite far to Amber's school in Ramsey, in traffic and battling and so on. And so one day I saw an advert for a house right next to the school.
And he didn't even look, there was no pictures, and he just decided he's signing for this house. He phoned me and he said, Mandy, there's this house, and it's like at a crazy low price in Ramsey Golf Estate. Can I sign? And I said immediately yes, and afterwards I thought, oh, flip, now what?
And we looked at it, and it was exactly the house that she described.
Huge windows,
in the
double volume
prophecy.
windows, and sun coming in everywhere. It was just awesome.
We weren't thinking about the prophecy when we took the house, but she said, you'll have this house with big sunny windows, and you will start a church in this house. And suddenly we were in this house. Now we knew we had to start.
But I was avoiding it like the absolute plague. And then one Saturday, it was a Saturday, I got a phone call, and I remember so clearly picking up the phone and chatting to somebody I hadn't spoken to in a long time. And they said to me, Mandy, what time does your church start? And I looked at the phone and I put it down and I said to Hannes, what time does our church start? And he said, 9:30.
9:30.
So I said very professionally, it starts at 9:30 tomorrow, you're just in time. So we set up our house to moved all the couches and chairs
Yes.
to look like lounge. And the next morning we told Evangelist Elmarie and Pastor Wendy, friends of ours, that we
They
started.
weren't pastors and evangelists at the
No,
time.
they weren't that at the time. And our children, we're starting church. So the next morning we start with us and this whole group of people come that had phoned. 14 people. Wow, what a way to start a church. And the next Sunday there was no one, just us and Wendy and Marie. And but God said to do it. And I thought, you know what, it doesn't matter if you run from your destiny. God's got a way. Sometimes He's going to con you into walking into your destiny. I know it sounds weird saying that,
Yes.
but God will do whatever He can to make sure you walk in your destiny. And that was the start of Frontline.
So we had incredible services there in our house in Ramsar. It had like a double volume area and a little gallery upstairs. Well, it wasn't designed as a gallery, it was designed as a pajama lounge, but we made it like our little gallery. So people would sit upstairs and people downstairs.
And especially the youth would sit upstairs
and be very naughty up there. But we had incredible church. Oh, we had such funny memories from those early days when children had children's church in our bedroom. One day we got home and children had written all over our carpet and with Cokie.
And my beautiful white duvet was like the designs on it. But you know what? It's part of the puzzle. Oh, and there was something else as well, that one of the kids had got hold of their dad's screwdriver and brought it to church. And they carved on our furniture. I've still got some of the furniture with the carvings.
Planting a church in your home is a whole different ballgame. So about 2 years later, I can maybe just mention we had incredible fire conferences there.
And we learned so much.
With Pastor Arthur Frost.
Yeah, but we were learning how not to do it sometimes. And we made a lot of it's not as if we hadn't planted churches before, but this was a whole new learning curve for us.
I remember the one September spring day, the place was just packed with people and huge jumping castle slides and things. It was just such a special time.
Yeah.
And about 2 years later, we moved into a wedding venue on Bayers Nordia. And every Sunday, the whole church had to be packed up, 2 or 3 buckets full. And everything was a faith move. I remember we had to trust God for an urn. And the first week, we got an urn.
It was such a celebration.
And we were so excited about our urn. And somehow in the loading of the cars, it got ridden over. And the urn was flat.
It's like...
In the early days of the church, you have to trust God for music equipment and overheads. And I was sometimes sound man and overheads and preaching.
Yeah, just all that old-fashioned overheads.
Where you put the paper on the thing.
My word.
And it was just a good time.
It was fun, and God was touching people. And today, from those days, there's people in ministry, you know, and that's exciting. I'm excited about.
And we have to talk about that every Saturday morning. Brandon, Ruan, Jared, and Joshua came. Ruan that has now passed away, and Joshua that's now in a high-powered job in Victoria.
And
was
Brandon,
then a student.
that's basically the ministry with.
Yes, Brandon was in the ministry.
Daniel.
And 7 o'clock, I've got to get all these youngsters up and let them help me. Tell about how you got Brandon and Jared to come to church.
Yeah, that was something. You know, I have this thing in my head that by any means possible, get them into a place where they can encounter God. So it was winter, and I said, okay, I would give them each 500 rand if they jump into the pool in the middle of winter at 7 o'clock in the morning, and they have to come to church afterwards. And I know that says they wanted the money for other things. And you know what? They took me up on the bedside to cough out for 1,000 rand, and I won't ever forget the look on their faces when they hit that freezing water. I'm sure it was just about freezing. They jumped in. I remember Jared jumping in and his eyes going huge, and they basically walked on the water out. Yes. But look at their destinies.
So that was the start of Frontline. It was based on the supernatural move of God on incredible fire conferences, November 2011, during 2012, and God just moved and moved, and people like Hendrik and Jared went off to Bible school because of the way God touched them in that very, very fire conferences.
Yeah.
And yeah, it was beautiful days. And we can quickly mention Slicks. We had a youth group and we had a young adults group, school leavers and young couples, SLYCS, Slicks. And it was incredible. In 2013, Joni came and sat down there at our dining room table, and it was just incredible, never knowing that she would become part of the family, that she would be an elder in our church and have a whole destiny.
Yeah.
And Slicks was just some incredible time. Some of the young people used to come.
I used to feed them every single Thursday. They knew Thursday nights they would come, and they would come from Monash University and come to our place to eat some food before they go clubbing.
But the word of God went out.
That's it. And the spaghetti bolognese would multiply. Sometimes we would be 30 people, 30 young adults, and the spaghetti bolognese would multiply and feed everybody with leftovers. But they would come in and they would get...
It was also just such memories.
Yeah,
people like the Peterson brothers and Kenneth Dean.
I remember when they came in, and then they're sitting down, and often new people, and they're a little bit uncomfortable. They just want to go clubbing. And then I would say, we're first going to do meeting, then we're going to eat. So they wait for the food. And it was often in the time we'll play a few worship songs, and then the Spirit of God would move, and then we would begin to flow in the gifts, and people would be prophesied over, and tears would be falling, and there would be really encounters with Jesus. And that made it so worth it. Oh, those were memories.
I remember Logan being touched by the power of God right there on the tile floor of that lounge. Oh. And it was just incredible moments.
I must say that one of the people that really stood out to me, that said yes to God no matter what, was Amber, a daughter.
Our worship team left for Canada
after like a month.
Yes.
and Amber can sing, but we had nobody to play keyboard for us. And so Amber said, I'll do it. And she YouTubed.
Yes.
And began to play worship and lead worship. And she put together a worship team. And I mean, within months, she was actually playing keyboard. She taught herself to play keyboard. And she sang so beautifully. And Frontline's worship team was born. It was amazing.
Yeah.
Somebody that just said, yes, God, use me.
She was 13 at the time, maybe around there. And she just started leading worship, and the worship team was built from there.
And it was all new adventures after that, and songwriting and anointing. It was a good time.
Yes.
It was a good time, a time of birthing great destinies.
Yeah. In the midst of all our funny stories and the twists and turns that we've run, we want to say God has been good, and there has been incredible, incredible moments.
And I must just say that God will take two very imperfect people who said, yes, God, we'll do it.
Next chapter, we'll chat about how we met Apostle Nikki and how we got into the
that's another weird
60 or 100 from the wedding venue, how we got into 60 or 100, etc.